Shabbat Shalom. It's on. Welcome. It's so wonderful to see so many smiling faces here this week to celebrate Shabbat together as our Temple Israel community. We'll begin by lighting our Shabbat candles and welcoming in the spirit of Shabbat. And I'll invite up Dina Couture to light and bless our candles.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all those who bring offerings of their heart. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, love, and peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, tzivanu hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Kabbalat Shabbat is our receiving of Shabbat. It's the service before the service. Or better, Kabbalat Shabbat is the singing before the service. We don't really pray during this time. We offer psalms and sing songs to prepare ourselves. As slowly, we bring ourselves into Shabbat. We witness our week fading away. This evening, our Kabbalat Shabbat service will look and feel a little bit different. Instead of focusing on breadth, on the vast number of songs and psalms that we can sing, we're going to dive deeper during this time into one text that we recite almost every week. We're going to take a deep dive into Shalom Aleichem on page 24. We'll sing a little, we'll listen a little, and we'll pause in between each verse of the poem. Shalom Aleichem is a 17th century Zmirah, a song that has been sung around Shabbat dinner tables and in synagogue pews since its creation. We meditate on greetings of peace, meditate on divine messengers, and we meditate on the Holy One of blessing.
The beautiful music of Debbie Friedman. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
What are angels? Our ancestors Abraham and Jacob both meet divine beings in their lives. They stand face to face with malachim, with angels, and they don't know these angels' missions. They are sent on a singular task. They are assigned, but this is not revealed at its outset. This is the nature of angels in our tradition, one singular mission or message, unknown outside of the divine realm. Our malachei hasharet, our ministering angels, arrive every Friday as sun sets. They shepherd each one of us to and from synagogue. We do not know the task that they will face. We only know that their goal is peace. So we greet them, Shalom Aleichem, come in peace, leave us in peace. For the sages teach us, those who do not greet a person with peace is considered a robber, for they have stolen from the other the chance to have the greatest blessing in this world, peace.
Boachim l'shalom, Malchei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
B'Shem Hashem Elohei Yisrael, a poem about angels in the name of God, the God of Israel. B'Yamini Michael Usmoli Gavriel. On my right is the angel Michael, on my left is the angel Gavriel. Umilifanai Uriel, Me'acharai Raphael. In front of me Uriel, behind me the angel Raphael. Va'al Roshi, Shechinat El. All around me is the Shechinat El.
Bachuni l'shalom, Malchei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Our greatest task as Jews is to live by words of Torah. Our tradition teaches us that this richness is intended to bring us life, but that we also must actively choose life. We must always pursue the goodness of this world. We ask the Shabbat Malachim to watch over us and bless us with peace. But when we rise up from synagogue, we know that their task ends at Havdalah, at the separation when Shabbat ends, and our work begins. We must be active builders, active ministers of peace in this world.
Tzedchem l'shalom, Malchei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sing with me. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Please join me for the Chatzi Kaddish on page 26. Yitgadal v'kadash me'rabav Be'alma divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei V'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayetecho beit Yisrael Ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'meru amen Yehi shmei rabba mevorach Le'alamu amei almaya yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei l'kudasha barichu Le'elam yinkol birchata v'shirata תשבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא, ואמרו Amen.
Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without the presence. We rise for our call to worship.
La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'id HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'id.
Continue with words of Ma'ariv Aravim, the rolling between day and night.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, golel mipnei choshech, golel mipnei choshech, choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
We continue together at the top of page 33. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivul thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be in thy heart, shall be in thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt speak of them when thou sittest in thy house, when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be for frontlets between thine eyes. And thou shalt write them on the doorpost of thy house, and upon thy gates, and upon thy gates, that ye may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
Together on the top of page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot oseh peleh, nora tehilot oseh peleh. Malechutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe.
We meditated on peace, and now we call to mind the God who brings us peace as we lie down each evening with the words of Hashkivenu.
As I lay my head to rest, will you watch over me? Shield me from danger in the shelter of your wings, and illuminate my dreams. Hashkivenu Adonai, שומרנו לחיים, לחיים. When the moon slips out of sight and the sun comes out to shine, will you return my soul to me when I open up my eyes? Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim, l'chaim, ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha. Sing with me. Ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha. Sukkot shlomecha. Ufros aleinu. Ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha. Sukkot shlomecha. One more time. Ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim, l'chaim.
We take a deep breath in and out. We've reached our Amidah, our standing central prayers of our worship service. We rise and begin together on page 46.
Adonai, sifatai tiftach, ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elayon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem, L'Ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav LeHoshia, Morid Hatah, Mechakel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol.
You may be seated. Atah kadosh u'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yechalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, our holy God.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. B'tov einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol et ub'chol shah b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Take a moment for silent meditation. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. And it flows like a river. It flows like a river. It flows like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. And it flows like a fountain. It flows like a fountain. It flows like a fountain in my soul. Love like the ocean. I've got love like the ocean. I've got love like the ocean. I've got love like the ocean in my soul. And it flows like the ocean. It flows like the ocean. It flows like the ocean in my soul. Sim shalom. Sim shalom. Tova, tova, uvracha, chimba, chesed, verachamim. Sim shalom, tova, tova, uvracha, chimba, chesed, verachamim. Peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. And it flows like a river. It flows like a river. It flows like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. And it flows like It flows like a river in my soul.
The Jewish people over the centuries have been called the people of the book, a charming phrase which says something generally about our people's commitments and behaviors. We study the book. We also read a lot of other books. The phrase people of the book has also come to describe something much deeper about who we are, who we have become as a people, those commitments. And that's that we have become a people of words. Think back to before March of 2020, those days when we would have oneg following Shabbat service, or in the summer, we would have wine and welcome. Any kind of event where there's eating, of course, brings on a lot of talking. How many times did you say something like, I'm only staying for 10 minutes? Or I'm gonna grab a cookie, say Shabbat Shalom, and then I'm hitting the road. Well, and then after you say these things, inevitably you start schmoozing, kibitzing a little, and long story short, more than 10 minutes have passed. I actually remember growing up on drives to temple for Shabbat when I was little, dictating to my mother how long she could stay at oneg for. I would make her promise that we would only schmooze for 5 minutes and then we were leaving. Well, I'm sure most of you can imagine what it's like to have a child dictating something to you. It never goes as planned. Schmoozing is not a bad thing. When an oneg is going strong long after the conclusion of services, it's a sign of comfort. It's a sign of strong community. The oneg example enhances our understanding of us being the people of the book, because the foundational element to the books that we hold so dear are the words on the pages or the words in the scroll. We are nothing without our words. This Shabbat evening, we read the first portion of the 5th and final book of our yearly cycle of Torah readings. It begins, Ele hadivarim, these are the words, Asher diber Moshe, that Moses spoke El Kol Yisrael, to all of Israel. This book, like the others, is named for the first significant word, divarim, words. Deuteronomy is retelling the story of the entire Jewish people. It's the second account of many notable stories and a reminder of some of our most important laws. But we learn more from considering the book's Hebrew name, divarim, or words. And these words aren't just God's words that we are reading. This is a retelling. This is Moses' account of not only his life, what he witnessed, but his understanding of all of the most significant events of our history. Some scholars describe the series of speeches that make up the book of Deuteronomy as Moses' final sermons to the Jewish people. These chapters are filled with Moses' final words, and these serve as his lasting legacy. Through this final act of speaking to the people in Devarim, Moses solidifies his place as Moshe Rabbeinu, our great and noble teacher. This Moses that we encounter here in Deuteronomy is immensely different, however, from the Moses throughout much of Torah. Moses, over the next few weeks, projects confidence and authority. He speaks for the majority of the 34 chapters in the book. But if we would have asked Moses back in Egypt if he could lecture for that long, I bet he would have laughed in all of our faces. In Exodus, when God first commissions Moses to be his prophet, we encounter a verse which is poignantly linked to the opening of Deuteronomy. Moses said in response to God's call, "O Lord, I have never been a man of words, ish divarim. Neither in the past nor since you have spoken to your servant, I am slow of speech and tongue." In these early days of Moses' life and career, his words are an unimaginable obstacle for himself. He feels vulnerable and out of place just at the mere thought of leading the people. Because he must do so, he must lead this people through his speech. We all can connect to Moses' story because at some point in our lives, we have all felt vulnerable or like we don't have the skills necessary to succeed. Well-known professor and lecturer on leadership, Brené Brown, teaches us about what it means to be vulnerable. She says, vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up, even when you have no control over the outcome. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's our greatest measure of courage. Moses tries to deny God by articulating his own weaknesses. I am not a man of words. But Moses instead answers the call and he shows up. He showed up for the slaves who desperately needed a leader. And he showed up time and time again across the desert for an unruly and stiff-necked people. And here, tonight, in the final month of Moses' life, Moses shows up yet again. Words have become Moses' tool, and he wields them with power and authority he never thought he would have. The speeches in Deuteronomy are not God's words in Moses' mouth. These speeches are Moses overcoming his challenges, looking his fear in the face and having courage. The book of Deuteronomy is a testament to a people who has faced so much. But more so, the final book of Torah reminds us every year we read it what the world can look like if we don't run from our weaknesses, but rather we're aware of them, show up despite them, and always do the holy and sacred work of improving ourselves. Shabbat Shalom. We have the great privilege, the great mitzvah every time we gather to think of those in our lives who are in need of an extra prayer of healing because they're suffering and their souls are not complete during these hours of Shabbat. We turn together to the words of Mishaberach Lecholim on page 253.
Of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
If you have a name you would like to share, please do so as my eyes pass yours.
שברח אמותינו מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
And let us say Amen.
We move to words of conclusion and rise together for the Aleinu on page 282.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tekedu l'alioter breshit, shelo asanu k'guyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'goralenu k'chol hamonam, be'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu, v'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
You may be seated. There are stars up above, so far away, we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. We think of all of the light that those we're mourning this week provided for us. We're in the period of Shloshim, the 30 days of mourning for Alan Wool, Janice Wool, Ellen Danelsky, Howard Gottlieb, and Dennis Weiner. And this week, our community is remembering the yahrzeits of Sherry Ann Apple, Sarah Applebaum, J. Wayne Baker, Simon Bear, Nathaniel J. Brisker, Hyman Budoff, Marvin D. Cohen, Ray Fawcett, Clarence Guerin, Harry Gutman, Sarah Horvitz, Adeline Jacobs, Edward Kellerman, Ralph Komorowski, Ann Krieger, Benjamin R. Krieger, Morton Leeper, Brian May, Sylvia Minsky, Eleanor Meerman Nadel, Marjorie Newman, Ruth Brandt Panich, Jeremy Putra, Meyer Rappaport, William Rogovi, Sarah Rosenblum, Abdu Sabit, Saul Israf, Robert K. Shine, Lillian Schwartz, Mildred Stern, Leon Tucholsky, Hulda Tucholsky, Ray Union, Eva Walker, Frank Wilson, and Timothy Wilson. If you have other names that you're thinking of this week for Kaddish, please feel free to share those names with our community. Our tradition is that we mourn together and support each other as a community, and we rise on page 294 for the words of Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye techol Beit Yisrael ba'agala ubizman kariv v'imru amen. Le'heshmei rabba mevarach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithalal shemei dekudesha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. We've connected with the memories of those who we've loved so much, and now we connect with each other and offer the priestly benediction. May God bless you and keep you. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace.
Amen.
You may be seated. We'll offer kiddush and motzi, the blessing over wine and grape juice. And I'll ask Aaron Couture to lead us in those blessings.
The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam ori peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushenu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodesh u'v'yahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh b'reishit ki hu yam tekilah l'mikra'e kodesh Zecher letziad Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikol ha'aviv, v'shabbat kodeshecha, v'yahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashavat. Amen. L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
And I'll invite up Andrew Meerman, one of our co-presidents of Temple, to offer some congregational announcements.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight in person and online. Thank you for the beautiful music tonight, Aaron Freed, Cantor Kathy. Appreciate that. It's beautiful. We have a number of exciting programs coming up. One that's new probably to everybody, we have an online auction of the stained glass windows from 133 Merriman Road. So Bruce Zake and Jim Levin have put together this awesome display, and you can see it online, and you can bid for these items, a little piece of history of Merriman Road. If you guys, anybody in the sanctuary can look over here, there are pieces and parts of those, and very nice. So the highest bidder will get those, and that money will benefit Temple Israel. Some programming coming up. Our rabbinic intern, Ashley Barrett, has a busy day tomorrow. We hope you join her. The Zoom online at 9 a.m. for her Torah study, and then live at the Nature Realm is the Havdalah service at 5:30 p.m. Is it next weekend? Yeah, 23rd of July, Sisterhood is having their barbecue that was postponed from rain. So go online. There's been emails going out. So go online, register for what food you want, and get that all prepped before you go. It's a kind of a pre-order thing. And then finally, on the 23rd, Cantor Kathy and Ashley will be joined on the Bema by Cantor soloist Rob Ross and Jeremy Sosin. So hopefully you guys can make it for that as well. So Shabbat Shalom, and thank you all for being here.
And we'll conclude with Ojavo Shalom Aleinu.
Shalom Aleinu.